Whenever you're ready, Coach.
All right. It was great for our team to get a win. Proud we did some really nice things in the game. Typical first game, a lot of really good things and some things that need to get cleaned up and some errors. But we got to look at a lot of very young players in the game, a lot of older guys and some new positions and different things we asked them to do. And like I said, there was a lot of very, very productive things in the game. I bet there's also typical first game things that we've got to get cleaned up and get fixed out from assignments, communications, discipline some things on how we're running some packages, offensively, defensively, even special teams, what we're doing. Obviously, defense, we got to seal up some areas in the rush game where we got just getting pushed by the quarterback a little bit. The inside guys got to press, and some of those we have a spy, and we got, as I say, I call it sticking your nose in the honey. Guys wanting to go make the tackle instead of doing their job, staying in the gap and forcing it to the unblocked guy, and how you got to do things. If that happens up front, sometimes that's where holes come out. We took the back door on a couple blocks trying to make tackles instead of just compressing the whole line of scrimmage and not leaving anywhere to run, and left a couple of little seams in there. Got to do a better job of that, but really made two nice turnover plays on defense, big points right before the half, and a big critical one. It turned into points. Anytime you can score points on the defensive side of the football, that's awesome. So we did some really good things there. Got to improve our open field tackling a little bit, but overall solid deal, but got to get a lot better, a lot more consistent, but played a lot of guys. Offensively, obviously moved the ball extremely well up and down the field, really good on third down. The thing was the turnovers, and we got to get that taken care of. Ultimately, no matter who, when you're the quarterback and you have a turnover, it's ultimately your fault. But what we have to do is continue to play well around our quarterback and not put him in situations because other guys don't do and be where they need to be at certain times or do certain things on plays and allow some of those turnovers to happen. But that's part of the game. Ultimately, you're responsible for that. We'll clean that up. Those are not major things, but they are major things because, like I tell our guys all the time, do ordinary things better than anybody else. Ordinary things lead to big things, great big things, and not doing ordinary things lead to bad things. They all come back to fundamental mistakes and things that you have to be consistent in everything you do, and we did that. But I thought, for the most part, a young offensive line did a good job against a group that brought multiple blitzes, multiple looks, multiple things they did, put hats on hats. I mean, ended up starting a true freshman center, making all the calls, and I thought did an outstanding job in the game for the first game to go out there and do that. Of course, there's a few little mistakes here and there, but we're able to control the lines of scrimmage, block very well, had a couple holding calls early, the first drive of the game and the first one of the second half. And we overcame the first one of the game and got a touchdown. The first and the second half we overcame it and got 3 points, had a chance to score a touchdown. That was disappointing. But you got to eliminate those things out of there. But ran the football relatively well. I thought both backs. I thought Isaiah Spiller played outstanding game. Ran the football well, caught the football well, and there's a couple things. I mean, he's becoming such a complete back. There were a couple blitzes, man, where he stepped up and put his nose right in the middle of guys. I mean, secured the pocket. We did a really good job doing that. Thought the chain command was his same self. I mean, just such a really good football player. Played great football, big plays on the run, consistent plays on the run, things we did there. I thought Anias came in the backfield again, played really well. Was leading on some short yardage plays, hitting linebackers in the mouth. I mean, played really well back there in that regard. Crown Over got back there and did some nice things. So, tight end position was solid in the game. I mean, Jalen did some really nice things. Got a couple things we got to get cleaned up, and some run blocking things that just our communications, getting it to him to where he's got to come down on a guy. We'll get that ironed out. Receivers, I thought Anias had a really nice game, made some big plays, short, long. Had the one critical drop, which is big. I thought could have scored early, but other than that, I think he did. And he blocks so well on the perimeter. He's like having another tailback out there on the edge, and those. When you talk about getting to those second levels and those long runs, getting part of that, your O-line blocks, but those receivers and secondary blocking and blocking downfield is very critical, and we did a nice job. Chapman getting him back was huge. He made a couple really nice plays in the game. Guys still can get consistent, but he blocked well. That was a good thing. Got in there, got his big body in there. Thought Chase was very consistent. He was kind of silent. You didn't hear a lot, but Chase played a really, really good football game. A lot of little things you don't see sometimes, opening guys up, made critical catches when he had the opportunities, made blocks. I thought played a really solid game in that regard. So there's a lot of things there. Kicking off, we did a great job. Without Caden being in there, we were walking in with a freshman kicker a week ago saying, "Oh, you're the kickoff guy today." And wow, he did an outstanding job in the game. He had one kick that got to the middle of the field, got displaced just a little bit that caused the return. We should have saw the return and got over there. But otherwise, we covered kicks very well. Thought we got down there well. Again, punt team, we didn't punt the game. Seth made his kicks, did a really nice job there. Punt return game, they were so all over the place. Again, our guys got lined up and got the eligibles covered for the fakes and all that. They hit so many pooches and squibs and very rarely. And of course, we had the one relaxation. We got the game under control. And doesn't go out there focused, and they hit the one punt. They do punt the ball. deep, and he gets over his head, and he's just got to let that ball go. They hit a deep one. We were playing for all the squibs and all the things they did. He cannot let that happen. I mean, that's lack of concentration, because that's not typical of him. But we got to get that ironed out. That can never happen. We had those two, that critical turnover at the end. But in the rest of our kicking game was very solid. But typical game. There were some really good things in the game. A lot of really good plays. Offensively moved the ball extremely well. Threw it well. Got distributed across the board to all the four receivers, backs. Decision making, our run checks were really good. But in defense, we did some really good things. But just a lot of things we got to get cleaned up in all areas, and we got to get our young players and got them in the game. So hopefully we'll get better between this game, because Colorado's a very good football team. Watch, they're dominant. They're pro coaches, because Darrell is a really good coach. Carl is. I mean, he's been around a long time, pro ball, college ball. Their staffs do a really good job. Pro schemes on offense and what they do, the different looks defensively, multiple blitzes, multiple fronts. They can do it or not do it. They're coached real well, physical up front, big and long, athletic. Backers have great size. Corners and secondary guys are all long. They mix multiple coverages and things they do. Very good receivers on offense. 3 big athletic guys can catch a football. I know the quarterback got hurt, but the young quarterback did a real nice job. Backs are outstanding. I mean, they got not one, they got 2 or 3 really, really good backs. Big, long offensive linemen. Tight ends are physical. Kicking game is very solid. Kickoff return and punt return game. Athletes and receivers are back there. Jerry Rice's son's one of them on the kickoff return. Young man on the punt return who are really athletic guys that can do it. So we're going to have our hands full going on the road. Tough game. Second game of the year. They've had a good win. We've had a win. So we got to go. But typical first. Looking across the country, as I say, there's a lot of things that we're still upset. We're not playing well. We got to keep developing that identity. But we did get out there and do some things we had, and we got challenged. At least we got challenged in the game. Responded. I liked the way we responded in the second half. Played very well in those regards and did the things we had to do. So we'll try to get better. Questions?
We'll go Brent, Travis, and Olin. Start us off.
Jalen Weinermeyer told us that Haynes King at one point during the game pulled him aside, adjusted him, and he said, hey, it really helped him out. Anyway, he was talking about how he remembered as a young guy Kellen helped him out. What did you see from Haynes in terms of his composure and just overall
not one bit.
Things?
The moment was not too big at all.
Yeah.
Was totally in the game. If something went wrong, he could walk off and tell you what went wrong, why it went wrong. We're communicating excellent all night. Seeing things, and if we say, this side here, I thought that coverage maybe should, coach, I see what you're saying now, could have come back here, was excellent in communication now, and I thought, you always wondered if it was a moment too big, and it wasn't, and it really got to test him under duress. Had a couple of, get turnovers. Is that put him in the shell? Nope. Went right back, saw him things, being just as aggressive, doing the things he had to do, and was proud in that regard.
And Michael Clemens and McKinley Jackson, will they be back, and if so, how much will that help you out?
Michael will be back. Michael will be back. McKinley won't this week, but Michael will be back this week. Clemens will be back. McKinley will not. Still in the process with that. But at the same time, that hopefully will help. But we still have a lot of things. Whether we play with them or not, we got to get better in the things we do. But Michael will have a good lift coming back.
Travis, you're next, and then Olin.
Yeah, Coach. How has the GPS technology that y'all use evolved, and what is some of those data that you really like to use for, and how has that evolved?
Well, I like player loads, accelerations, decelerations, change of directions, heart rates for safety issues, guys in condition, of the excitement, how they control emotions, how they do things, but how hard the rate with player load per ratio of the heart rate and things, and tell the shape, conditioning, and you have speeds, you have accelerations, decelerations, re-accelerations. It's something we've added to it. We're doing, like I say, we've been doing this longer than anybody in college football. We were doing it before pro football. We were the first ones to do it when we were at Florida State, and we've evolved in this thing big time. It's been able to help us tremendously, and it takes a lot of the guessing off of me of where our team is. Is it tired? Is it wore out? Is because you can tell a guy, so I'm tired. Well, they're always tired, and every coach says what? Go harder. You ain't tough enough. I mean, that's what we all say. I mean, that's what we say, and that's what they say. It's like we're on both sides. It's like Republicans and Democrats. One says one thing, one says the other. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter. I mean, you're on both sides. You always. But what that does, it takes the guesswork out for me as far as being able to say, okay, here's your player load, here's your heart rate. There is something. Your speeds are going down, your loads are up. We do need to give you a rest, and each guy has. You can judge how much practice time, different things that go on, and allows you to practice certain guys, and also guys with injuries. When you're bringing guys back, you want them at a 50% practice rate, then a 60%, then a 70% maximum. You can judge that by numbers, by what's coming on, so you can limit, and it really helps in getting guys back on the field with soft tissue injuries in that regard and how we do it. I was able to do it one year with Dalvin Cook, who had a pulled hamstring the whole year and ran for 1,600 yards. It was the most amazing thing I ever did, and there was no way we'd have been able to get him in shape and do it right, and we'd have been able to control it right without those numbers. You know what I mean? We've done it with guys here. I mean, it was amazing. And so those things, and it's a safety issue. Plus, you check speed, accelerations, guys getting faster. Guys, are they maintaining speeds? Or the accelerations need work? It tells you how to train guys. You know, does his quickness need work? Does his long speed need work? I mean, there's multitudes of things, and back and forth, and in that regard.
And then on those same ideas, there's a handful of guys who are out for injury. What's kind of the injury status, especially of Miles Jones and Caden?
Miles, hopefully, we held him out last game. He'll be practicing. He'll be back in practice this week a little bit, so we'll see how it goes.
Any of the other guys?
Just give me somebody in particular. I can't. I don't have the list. Caden should be back. Caden will be back this week.
Okay.
Caden Davis will be back.
Olin, you're next, then Mark.
Jimbo, I was just wondering if you could give us kind of an evaluation again on your linebacker play, and then on Bryce Foster in particular.
Linebackers, I think we got to fit we're fitting, but we got to be more physical when we fit. We got to play with better leverage, and we got to pull the pin a little quicker. And we can't, as I say, I keep saying, stick our nose in the honey. If we got to fill the B gap or the A gap or the C gap. We got to fill it, plug it, play it with the right shoulder free, and let the ball bounce to where it's got to be. And not sometimes you get in those situations and you think on defense, I want to make a tackle. Well, you think that's what it, but that's not always true. I got to do my job. Then if the tackle comes my way, then I chase the football. And because if you get out of your hole, like you're coming up to make, you're an A-gap fitter, for instance, all of a sudden that ball looks like it's cutting back, and you jump over the center to go make the tackle, all of a sudden that ball cuts back. You got to do it within the framework of how it's constructed on defense. I think we got to do a little bit better job of that. And that's from wanting to make plays. That's not from not wanting to make plays. It comes from a good place, but it can be just as dangerous as not wanting to make plays, if that makes any sense. Because everything's designed. In football, basketball and things, you could freelance. I mean, and I don't mean it on bad. There's 5 guys and free. Football is so choreographed because there's 11 guys. Where guys fit, where the responsibilities are, where your help is, everything on defense is choreographed. If anybody's ever played, if you ever talk to me, Dave can tell you back there. I mean, where the safety's going to fit based off the back. I got outside. Well, both have you outside, the ball goes in the A gap. Or both ever think you're inside, the ball bounces outside. I mean, or the backer he takes on a block, but instead of keeping his outside arm free, he keeps his inside arm free, and the ball bounces. I mean, little things like that, details. So I say ordinary things. The devil's in the details, man, and little things like that we got to clean up. And it's not from a bad place. We just got to be more disciplined on how we do it and be more physical with it, what we do. I thought Bryce was outstanding in the game. I mean, he made a couple little mistakes, but to go in as a freshman the looks we got, there was a lot of looks in that game. Multitude of things they did, physical, point of attack, making calls, snaps, not one bad snap in the game. A couple little mistakes here and there on some things, but it's like a quarterback. Center and a quarterback you go make 80 calls in the game, see if you make 80 of them perfect. With all the different looks, blitzes, and things that go on, it's hard. And I thought he did an outstanding job in the game and played very well. And I think the sky's the limit for the guy.
To the left, Mark, and then to the back, Mike, and then Tyler.
Jimbo, you had a lot of true freshmen play on defense this weekend. So hoping to get your thoughts on them, and then maybe an injury update on Harris and Mowry.
All right. Harris, who did you say? Oh, Donnell. All right, I got so many here. So many names. I'm serious. Guys everywhere. Donnell should be hopefully getting back in practice this week. We're trying to get him back in practice this week to be able to play, which would be great. Mowry will still be out just a little bit of time, I believe. Just trying to think off the top of my head. The young freshman in the game, if we go through them, I'm trying to make sure I don't miss any. You asked me, I'll try. Shamar was in the game. Had some really nice plays early. Again, in other words, making sure you do everything right, how you twist and things, and they're learning that. This guy's going to be an outstanding player. He loves ball. He practices hard. He's big. He's physical. And, he's got a chance to be a really, really good football player. I'm trying to think who I'd go across the board. We had Jordan Gilbert was in the game a lot, back at safety, got put in there. I thought tackle well. Again, there's another thing. Safety's it's a very multiple position that you have to run and pass in the looks and calls. But I thought did a really nice job. I think he can burst, he can run, he can hit. I think he's going to be a really nice player. I'm very pleased with some of the things he did in the game. Chappelle was excellent. Played nickel, played corner, can run, can cover. We come off being banged up about a week ago. Now he's back to full speed. I thought did a really nice job and gives us some really nice playback and really good ball skills and athleticism and what he did.
Deuce Harmon.
Deuce Harmon got in the game, did a really nice job playing nickel, can play corner, moves around multiple position, made a couple nice tackles, can really run, man. He's athletic. I think has a really bright future in what we're doing. I'm trying to think. Zion Harrison. Zion Harrison coming in the game. Zion can burst. He's athletic. He's long, special. And these guys can all contribute in special teams too. Can tackle in space. I think has great pass rush ability or cover ability. I was very pleased with his progress in that. Anybody else I missed out of that group?
I think you got it.
That's hard to say off the top of my head. I'm just exactly all of them. I know we played so many. I mean, there's a lot of young guys out there, man. It's
We'll go to
amazing.
the back, Mike, and then Tyler, and then Sam.
Coach, you guys had 25 plays or at least 10 yards on Saturday. That was the most in the country. And Jalen said he thinks you guys can be even more explosive. So with all these weapons, I mean, how explosive can this offense be?
Well, I mean, if we stay disciplined, and that's what we got to work on. I mean, all those good things, but then you have the self-inflicted wounds and little things of why an interception was made, guys not spacing, guys getting hands on balls that shouldn't be there, trying to make I mean, little things. And again, those come from, I want to get the ball, I want to get open. Well, how is that in correlation to the next route coming behind you? You know what I mean? How does that fit? How does the spacing fit? There's a lot of little things with our veteran guys that have to get cleaned up. And sometimes as a veteran, you want to go out there and it comes from you want to make that play so bad, or you want to get in there and you start ad-libbing. You can do it, but you got to stay within the framework of things. But we can. I mean, we dropped a touchdown. We had a big touchdown drop in there and still played really well. I mean, there's a lot of potential for guys that can run with the football, catch it. Quarterback can throw it. He can run it. Our tight ends can block and catch. I mean, it is in our offensive line. We have a lot of potential. But again, potential means you haven't done it consistent. And what I'm looking for is the consistency and the physicality that we do it with, so we can keep receiving. And the other thing in that game, we actually messed up a short yardage. And that was all it came from was a missed block. We didn't again come down all the way on a guy where we could have hit that seam. And something that little, you have a 6-7 play drive, because in the first half, the thing about us was we didn't have the field position. We were always backed up. And so we were on long drives. We'd have 6, 8, 9 plays, and all of a sudden, boom, we'd score in the first 2 drives, then we didn't score the next 3. And it's frustrating by still moving the ball. That's why you got to finish drives and you got to focus, and our attention to details got to be a lot better. But there is a lot of potential there. There's no doubt.
Stay behind the lights, Tyler, and then Sam to the left.
Jimbo, you're going to Denver and playing in altitude, which is something this team isn't really used to. What are you doing to prepare for that altitude? And is there anything
Well,
you're
test
stressing?
guys and no. I've done it before. I've done it multiple times and never had an issue. You line up and play. Been to Colorado, which is 200 feet higher. Been to Provo, which is 800 feet lower. With Florida kids all over the South, and it's always been fine. And you adjust, and people do have things. We'll have oxygen on the sideline. Guys need to get a little air, but it's always been. I mean, Dave's played up in Mile High when you're in LA. I mean, it's not. I mean, some guys. I mean, there could be you have a condition or something that can really affect you, but most of the time, that's not a big factor.
Go to the left, Sam, and then Chuck.
Jimbo, a couple for you. On Haynes' first interception, I think he was rolling right. You guys kind of had a lot of receivers flooding that side of the field. Was there any issues with how guys ran those routes or spacing and all that?
There was one of them I need to just keep on going out there, and we might have hit that second one right in the belly with the ball. But I mean, it comes from a good spot. Nothing, ill will. But that's what I'm saying. Some things like that in our spacing that need to get cleaned up. Yes.
And then Leon had a critical play that kind of shifted
2
the
critical
game.
plays.
Yeah.
And the one before half was big too. Now that stopped momentum and be able to get it stop and be able to make that. Yes, sir.
But I remember when early in your tenure, we would ask you about him, and you'd say, if you want to know what's going on with the football program, follow Leon on Twitter. And I'm curious with you, where he's come from, when you first got here to now, how much progress on and off the field is Leon?
Well, I mean, and I would say this: Leon's always wanted to come from a good place. I mean, you just can't tell everybody what you want to do all the time. I can't. I guess this new generation can. You don't put it all out there, but it drives me crazy. But anyway, but it is. But just understanding who you are, what you are, and how important you are to the team, and how you lead the team in different things. I mean, he has come a long way. And when I say it, being able to function as a pro. You know what I mean? I say if you have a chance to be a pro, and I say be a pro in college. There's nothing wrong with being a pro in college about how you go about your business. Be a pro about being professional, and the hard work you put in, the time you put in, and understanding the big picture, what you're trying to accomplish, not for yourself, but for the team. You know what I mean? And I think he has really absorbed that. And it's funny, the more he's absorbed it, the better he's played, and the more productive he's played, and the more it's came out. And I'm very proud of him and happy for him, and that he, hope he keeps playing like he's playing.
We'll go Chuck, and then David.
Jimbo, you talked about this team and trying to find its identity early in the season. How much can a trip to a power conference team coming off a bowl game, hostile environment on the road, all those sorts of things, how much can that forge an identity?
Yeah, hey, it better show up quick, because you're going to a very good Colorado team that's coached very well, but guys have been in pro ball, how they know how to break down your protections, your runs, your defenses. I mean, these guys are very intelligent, and they've got a very good team, had a very successful team, and they know what they're doing. And you're going on the road in a hostile environment. You better find out. You're going to find out really quick. We need to find out. We need to have a great week of practice to be able to prepare to play. No doubt.
Go David Nuno, and then Jennifer on the left.
Jimbo, you mentioned Caleb Chapman earlier, right here.
Yes, sir.
What is his presence and he being back to for this offense?
Well, I think one for him himself, I'm happy for him. He's had two unfortunate injuries that were just freak things. I mean, got tangled up with a running a route and scout team on, in our scout team work as a freshman and was really going to play, and then catches a big touchdown to put us ahead in one of the biggest games last year, and it was having a career day and has it. And I mean, that can really discourage you. Like, I mean, and I'm saying for him personally, I mean, that, why me? You know what I mean? And then to come back and, those are 10-month recoveries. We say, well, I'll be back in 10 months. And we just mark it off and, we'll go see you in 10 months. Do you know what the mental stress, strain, demeanor, I mean, the thoughts that go through your head as an athlete, when that dream of you never playing something you've done your whole life, been able to do, and it's amazing. I'm just so happy for him personally, not just for us as a team, to overcome 2 ACLs, to play at the level he's playing, to come back and do what he's doing, and be productive, and it shows his grit, his fortitude, and his willingness to overcome things. And I'm just happy for him to be able to get back out there and be productive. And for us personally, I mean, gives us a big, fast, athletic guy. I mean, as a receiver, great target, get deep, but he can run underneath routes. There's nothing he can't do. He blocks and gives us one excellent football player. It makes us a lot better football team, that's for sure.
We'll go to the left battalion, then Cole down front.
Hi, Coach Fisher.
Hello.
Jennifer with the battalion. Last time we were here, we saw Leon get pretty emotional about his performance and his pick six against Kent State. How much do you think a player's passion and overall love for the game influences their performance?
I think it does, but I also think this. I think it's great. You got to have passion. You got to have juice. I call it the juice. You got to have that energy, but at the same time, you got to be able to control your energy. You got to be able to control your passion. You can't let it get too high. Passion can only take you so far, your emotions, but it can keep you motivated, can keep you driven in those tough times, remembering why you love to play. But, it's like, the old saying, be quick but don't hurry. You know what I mean? And you want to have emotion, you want to have juice, but you don't want to be so far you're out of control. And I think that's what he's done a really good job of. He keeps it, but he's coned it down to where he can perform. And I think he's found that happy medium, that place for him, which I think is big.
We'll stay to the left.
Hi, Coach Fisher. It's Kay with the battalion. So, 5-star recruit and now freshman Shamar Turner had a really good game with 1.5 sacks and just a handful of tackles. With him being so young, how do you think some of the older defensive players have really influenced him on?
Well, I think he's got great examples. I mean, Liao and those guys inside and what he's watched and the guys he's been around. And here's the other thing: he's going against Kenyon Green. He's going against Jameer Johnson. He's going against our big offensive line, Layden Robinson, all those big physical guys. It makes him better quick to how to play guys. And I think and here's the thing, he had all those productions and still has so much room to improve. So many little things and that he's got to get better at, pad level, hands, and all those things, and he's still being productive. But he's another one. He likes to play and he knows how to play, and he's going to get better and better, and the quicker he gets better, the better we're going to be. But I think 2 things: the guys around him, Liao and those guys teaching him and being with him, and then the part of being who he's going against every day, I think really has developed him, and he's at work. Now he lives, eats, and breathes ball constantly.
We'll go down front, Cole, and then Cease, you'll wrap us up on the left.
Coach, last season you were one of the best third down teams in the country, and you kind of started off once again 9-13. For Haynes and for the younger offensive linemen to be able to pick it up as quick as they can, what does that say about your entire fall camp, and what does that say about what this team could be moving forward?
Well, it's something that's always a part of the game that we always influence, and I think offense and defense. We got to make those plays and get off. And a lot of those, like I say, I think we had 4 3rd and 1 and 2s, and we missed one unfortunately. But I believe we had 4 3rd and 7 or more, which I think we were 3 out of 4 on. And one was a pop run. We could have popped it in there. And 4 to 6, we got to clean up. But big, because you got to understand the importance of third down. And then also in there, if you look, there was 3. We missed it with the holding, but there were 2 third down red zone conversions, 2 touchdown passes on third down, both to Anais Smith. Third down red zone conversions are even more prized. They're even more worthy. I mean, when you convert third downs in the red, and the defense getting off the field, that keeps you to a field goal or a missed field goal, and then on offense, man, you can score in touchdowns. And understanding the importance of that down and how to perform in those down, again, those are critical plays in the game, and it's something we emphasize, and hopefully we can continue to do well on. Our guys did a really good job the other night.
Cease, you'll wrap us up.
A change touchdown. Spiller carried the ball 3 times that possession before. Did he have an equipment problem, or is this just a great substitute?
No, we're in rotation. We're going to keep a rotation. I mean, those guys are going to rotate. They both touch the ball. We're going to keep things as we go and evolve into that, because they both have to touch the ball. Both are dynamic, and it also keeps you free. You got a 12-game season. Hopefully you got a bowl season. Hopefully you got a playoff season. Hopefully you got play a champion. I mean, you got a lot of things to play for. There's a lot of football, a lot of physical football. those guys both have to be able to carry the football for us to be a good team and the dynamics we have. We're going to keep rotations there. You don't always stay in on the drive. I mean, there could be things that go on, and we'll keep rotations.
All right, Coach, thanks for your time.